Hey, what's going on, guys? So, guys, this Memorial Day, I wanted to share a story with you, and because of this, what I learned this a few years ago, and because of this, I really have a high respect for our military and for those, especially those who were sacrificed. And I also have special respect for those who I'm about to talk about right now. See, my grandfather served during World War II, and part of his duty was he was part of a team of three that guarded one of the howitzer artillery cannons. Okay, and at the time there was two groups. They would have different shift. Each had different shifts. There was another group of three, and then my grandfather and his group. Well, my grandfather and his group were sleeping, and the other group was on duty guarding the howitzer. Well, it was time for my grandfather and his group to wake up to take their turn. Well, the other guys said, "You know what? Let's let these guys sleep a little bit longer, and we'll guard. We'll take this next shift, and then they can, take after that." Well, during that time, that this other group of three decided to go ahead and take extra time watching the cannon. There was a freak accident, and the howitzer exploded, and it killed all three of the men that were guarding at the time. Now, if my grandfather had been on duty like he was supposed to be, he would have been killed along with his other two in his group. And because of the sacrifice that those other three men made, not really knowing what the effect would be. And remember, these guys were basically kids back then. See, these guys were probably, in their 20s, maybe 19, 20, 21, 22, if that. Really young. And because of that, because my grandfather survived the war and went on to basically have 8 children, 23 grandchildren, and roughly 20 or so great grandchildren. Now, my grandfather and my grandmother have since passed on, but you think about these things, and it kind of like it really makes you think. It's like the butterfly effect. One small change affects everything. It's like you drop a pebble in a lake, in a pond, and the ripples come, and then one change changes where the ripples go. Well, because of the sacrifice that these other guys made, these other soldiers made, you know, I if it wasn't because it wasn't for their sacrifice, I would not be here. I would not be here. Uh, at the time, my grandparents only had one child, my aunt Bonnie, and so of course, most likely she would have still gotten married to my uncle Dan. They would have had their kids and their grandchildren as well. But my mother would not have been born. Okay, she would not have been born, and neither would I. So it's or and if it was maybe think about what happens if my grandmother remarried and had kids. Well, I would not be the same person that I am today. I would be totally different. So I either would not be here at all, or I would be totally different. But you think about these things, and you don't really think about the sacrifice that these men and women make that serve in our armed forces. You don't really understand. People, for some reason, I know a lot of you understand, and there's a lot of vets out there, and or a lot of families, a lot of military families. So you guys understand. You guys get it. Okay, you totally get it. But there are those out there who don't really understand. I'm not saying you should shame yourself because you don't get the whole thing. You don't understand it completely. But I want you really, if you don't understand it, you don't really get it, if you're not involved directly in some way, I want you to really take the time to really start to learn and really see what our military does and what the sacrifices they make, what that means, all right, what that provides. Say freedom is not free, okay? And even things like this that I'm talking about that affect basically one family, that actually didn't affect just one family, it affected their families. Well, the ones that passed on, their families were affected because those families did not thrive because those men were killed, okay? But because they were killed, my grandfather, his family, and the families of the other two that were part of his group thrived. So, guys, it's not about getting drunk and having a barbecue. All right, people celebrate Memorial Day a lot and they forget what it's really about. Okay, they just think, okay, it's a holiday weekend. Oh God, the banks are closed, post office is closed, everything's closing early. There's a parade. Oh, there's a barbecue. Oh, let's go have barbecue. Oh, I get time off for work. Oh, great. You don't get what it's really about. Okay, so really, I would like everyone to, you know, take some time. Either make a post on your social media, whether it's a video or just write something up, write it on a blog, share an image on Instagram or whatever, do a tweet, something that shows that you appreciate the ultimate sacrifice that our brave men and women make in our armed forces. Okay. Now, Memorial Day is more or less specifically a U.S. holiday, but I also would like to send my appreciation for all military who served in their own countries. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm not. I'm living in the U.S. and yeah, this is. I'm really appreciating and I'm thinking about the ones who passed on, who died in service for our country. But for those of you who aren't in the U.S., take the time to really appreciate those who served in your military who passed on, so you can have the freedoms that you have where you are. Okay. But guys, this is like not really my usual video on YouTube. I usually do other videos like you usually see my motivational videos and marketing and product reviews and things like that. But I really want to take this time to do this live stream and share this with you guys, share this story with you, because if it wasn't for those three soldiers that I never even knew, I would not be here. Okay. So with that, guys, thanks for watching. You guys have a happy and safe Memorial Day. Stay safe out there. Stay at home. Okay. We don't want anyone getting sick. We'll get past this whole COVID-19 pandemic soon. Everyone just needs to, just to, basically suck it up, buckle down, do what you need to do to stop the spread, and we'll get through it. And to those families, military families who have lost someone who has died in service, my condolences, and I appreciate the sacrifice you've made as families, uh, as military families, so we can have the freedoms we have. And also want to send out my appreciation to all those who are currently serving and all veterans out there as well, because of what you've done, your service, you've also helped provide us with the freedoms we have today. So, and I especially want to send my thanks out to those who have given the ultimate sacrifice and died in service for their country and for our freedoms. So, with that, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next live stream. You guys have an awesome day. Have a happy Memorial Day. We'll talk to you soon.